What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Sideline Sports. It is Sunday, Game 7 time, and today we're talking Warriors. So hit that like, hit the subscribe, come on in. We got a few things to talk about. Number one, I didn't think it was going to get here. I thought Game 6 was going to be over, the series would be over, and that would be that. Unfortunately for the Warriors, they sleptwalked through that game. Let's go back and take a look kind of exactly how that happened. Well, I think we have some older players who are getting a little bit worn down with the series, and that has, I think, a lot to do with it. It was slow. The bench scored more points than the starters did by far, and if the Warriors are going to win tonight, they are going to need to come out with a sense of urgency that I have not seen in this series. Now, this podcast here is all about one specific topic, and that is, does Steph Curry need this series, and does he need this playoffs to cement his legacy in the NBA? That's the question of the day, guys. Does he need it to cement his legacy in the NBA? And I'm going to break down why that's not true in some ways and why it's true in others. So, the conversation for many, many years has been LeBron or Curry, who's the GOAT of this generation? And anybody else who throws another name out there probably is just, I don't know, crazy, I guess. So, let's break down what Curry needs to get ahead of LeBron. First off, LeBron has made it to the playoffs, I think 4 times in the last 5 years, and it's been a first or second round exit almost every single time. He hasn't won a finals. Curry has. So if we're going to compare the two and we want to know what will cement Curry's legacy, the simple answer is it's already cemented. There is nothing that Curry can do any further to cement his legacy in the NBA as a top 5 player of all time, in my opinion. In my opinion, you could call him a top 10, but if you want to call him the GOAT of this generation, that's a different conversation altogether. And that's a conversation where I say, yes, he does need this playoff series. He does need these playoffs in general, and he does need a championship, because right now him and LeBron are tied for championships, right? He has beat LeBron 3 out of 4 times, and that is impressive, and that alone should give Curry a leg up on the GOAT conversation, and Curry has changed the game. We only shoot 3-pointers from the half-court line because of Steph Curry. Nobody else has influenced the game more than Steph Curry in my lifetime, and I'm going to include Michael Jordan in that. Although Michael Jordan is the GOAT, and he was the most impactful player on the NBA, he never changed the game like Steph Curry has changed the game. I've never seen anything like it. And if Steph Curry could somehow get past the Rockets and get through to Minnesota, the Warriors beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 3 out of 4 times this year. And they beat the Thunder 3 out of 4 times. If that was the path to the finals, I think the Warriors have a great chance to get to the finals. A better than average anyway. But they have to get past the Rockets. So the question is how important is this series and are these playoffs to Curry? For that reason, I would say it's a very, very important series right now. Because he doesn't want to be compared to LeBron. I don't think he wants to be compared to LeBron as a who's better. I think if you're Steph Curry, you want to be definitively known as the GOAT of this time. And the way to do that is to win one more ring at least than LeBron, and to go through and win more playoffs than LeBron. And so far, Curry is on the verge of possibly getting another ring. But the fact is, say hi, John. John just waking up this morning. But the fact is that there is no way for that conversation to be definitively answered unless one of these guys gets another ring. Now, LeBron looks like he's gassed, and I don't know how many more years he's going to play, but clearly Steph Curry is a better player today than LeBron, and Steph Curry was a better player last year than LeBron. It's been a few years since you could have said LeBron is better this year than Steph Curry. It's been a few years. And so for that reason, I believe Steph Curry can take that leg up and he can enhance his legacy in the NBA. It's cemented as one of the greatest of all time, and there's nothing that anybody can do or say about that, including Curry. But what he can do is he can enhance that. He can bring his legacy to the next level. And to bring his legacy to the next level, he needs another ring. He needs another ring. And is he going to get one before he retires? I certainly think he is. Is it going to be this year? Hard to say, because right now they've got to go back in the Lions' Den in Houston, face Rockets at home in a Game 7. Has Curry beat the Rockets in a Game 7 before? At home? In Houston? Yes, he actually has. So can he do it this time? Yes. But let's just be clear here, guys. It's not one man. It is a team, right? And this is what I've been saying about the Warriors the entire year. The consistency has to be there. If there is no consistency around the team, then you're not going to make it very far. And it's showing either with the starters or the bench, but it shows commonly this year with the Warriors. When the starters are on fire, they need at least one guy from the bench or two, or Moses Moody, who is starting now, to step up and score some points. And when I say some points, I mean 15 to 18 points would be nice to see out of Moody, Pajimski, somebody. Somebody's got to step up. Gary Payton is usually very good on defense. He doesn't score a lot on offense, but I liked him as a player. I don't think he's going to be able to step up and do that. Where's Jonathan Kuminga when you need him? I'll say this. Last game when the Warriors were looking sluggish, I think it would have been time to put Kuminga in the first quarter, maybe beginning of the second quarter. Maybe beginning of the second quarter when it looked like they weren't getting any energy. Why that didn't happen? I think Steve Kerr just has something against Kuminga. I don't think Kuminga plays in Game 7. I really don't. He said all the right things about Kuminga, the possibility of him playing. Maybe he will play. I don't think he's going to start because I don't think Steve Kerr has the confidence in Kuminga. I get why he doesn't have the confidence in Kuminga. But when something's not working, you got to switch it up. And Kuminga seems like a good option if things aren't going right early tonight, guys. If Game 7 starts off and the Warriors are down by 5 or 10 in the first quarter, I'd say you got to throw Kuminga in there and give him a chance to crash the boards and start wreaking havoc a little bit. At least give him the opportunity to do that. But at the end of the day, this episode, again, is all about, is Curry's legacy cemented? Yes. Can it grow and become bigger and better? Yes. And the conversation always revolves around Curry versus LeBron. Curry needs this, guys. The Warriors need this. Okay? If they lose, they're going to go into offseason, they're going to retool, and they're going to get some players that are consistent to play around Curry, Butler, and Green. There's no doubt about that. And I've always said I think the Warriors are going to be better better next year than this year. But if they can somehow win the whole thing this year, man, I think Curry can probably go off and get even another ring next year or the year after because they just got Jimmy Butler, and they're playing some absolute lights-out basketball with him. I think the Warriors should win tonight. I think they have the pedigree. They have the championship talent and mentality in their players. They have the leaders. The question is will the bench and the secondary players follow Curry and Green and Butler's lead? That's what they need. Now, last game, I think Curry and Green kind of let the team down a little bit. They didn't come out there with the energy and the fire that they needed to get that game going, and so nobody else followed. You know who did have a good game? Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler had a great game, but it couldn't have been just all about Jimmy Butler. So today, it's all hands on deck. They've got to come in, and they've got to show this young, inexperienced Rocket team what it looks like to close out. Because if they don't, then the Rockets, they're going to take it to the next level, not only in these playoffs this year, but in years to come. I think they will anyway. They have an excellent young team. One more guy, and I'm not going to get into that. One more guy, maybe KD, could take this team just over the top. I hope that doesn't happen. But the bottom line is we're talking about here and now, and the Warriors have all the tools and all the personnel to get this done in Game 7. The question is can they? And I'm going to tell you guys straight up, because this is my podcast, and my podcast is all about being honest and upfront. I'm a homer, but I'm also very realistic. If you ask me if I think the Warriors are going to win tonight, I'm going to say no. I don't think they're going to win. I think they're going to go into Houston, and I think they're tired. I think they walked through the last game. I think their bodies are broken down because Curry is older, Green is older, and Butler is getting there. But Butler wasn't the reason. and they have a bunch of inconsistent players who cannot support Curry when he's not scoring. The supporting cast is weak because it's inconsistent, and the mental strength of this team outside of Curry, Green, almost literally said LeBron, Curry, Green, and Butler is fairly weak. And that's why they're going to retool a little bit in the offseason. There is no doubt about that. There is no doubt. But, sorry guys, got allergies and anyway. But the fact of the matter is this. If they come out and win tonight, it will be because the bench woke up and helped out Curry and Green and Butler. They cannot drag this team all the way to the finals. They can't. It's got to be about other players stepping up. Podziemski and Moody have to be guys that step up. They just have to be. They have to be. If they're not, then this is over. This is over, guys, because they're traveling on one day's rest to Houston to play Houston at home in a Game 7. And although Curry has won those games in the past with the Warriors, it can't be just all about Curry because he is getting older and he cannot do everything for the team. Players have to step up, and that has to be the message in the locker room, guys. That's got to be the message. Otherwise, this will be the last Warriors podcast for a few months. Unless there's news to come out, and then I'll go right back onto the Niners, which have some exciting things coming their way as well, I believe. And I haven't talked about them enough. But right now, guys, it's about the Warriors. They got to wake up. The sleepwalking, the living and dying at the three-point line in Game 6, the constant open shots that were missed in Game 6, the bad defense in Game 6. It's all got to change, guys. It's all got to change. If it doesn't change, this is over. This is over so quick. If just one of those things doesn't change, it's over. They have to change everything in this game. The defense has got to be on point. The shooting's got to be on point. The turnovers can't happen. The living and dying from the three-point line cannot happen. You're a three-point shooting team, but you have to take it to the rack. You have to draw those fouls. Jimmy Butler can't be the only one. He cannot be the only one. Moody cannot be the only one. There's the only two guys I saw going straight to the rack drawing fouls. And Moody didn't draw a lot of fouls, which is another aspect to this series that could be a potential problem tonight. If the fouls start getting called early, it's anybody's game. But the Warriors, they better start drawing them. Because if the Warriors don't go to the rack, if they don't start drawing fouls, then guess what? I'll tell you one thing. The Houston Rockets will be doing that. And if the Houston Rockets outscore in penalty shots and free throws than the Warriors, it's an uphill battle all the way, guys. There are so many reasons why the Warriors probably won't win tonight. Probably won't. And that's why I'm telling you guys out there that it may be a bad conversation to have or maybe disappointing because this is a Bay Area sports podcast, but it is realistic. And the realistic view right now, not what the gamblers and the point setters out there say the Warriors should do. The Warriors should have won every single game based on what they tell you in Las Vegas. But if you watch the series and watch how it's going, you know how difficult this game is going to be for the Warriors. They're tired. They're older. They're getting run out of the building. They're getting pressed constantly by a younger Rockets team. The only way to win is with your brain, mentally. You have a championship pedigree in Curry and Green and Butler. And they may not be faster all the time, but they are smarter basketball players. If they use that, they can win. If the bench comes out, Podziemski comes out and scores a decent amount of points, or Moody comes out and scores a decent amount of points, or they let JK come in the game and he draws some fouls by taking it to the rim, which doesn't sound like such a bad idea right now. Doesn't sound bad. Sounds like a pretty good idea. Considering nobody else could do it, I'd let him go take it to the rack and get defensive right now. Defensive offense. That's what I would do. I'd get aggressive. I would get aggressive right now. There is no other way to beat this Rockets team. You've got to punch them in the mouth. They are an aggressive team. They're going to play dirty. They're going to. There's no doubt in my mind they're going to hit on Curry's thumb all day long because they're going to be playing Minnesota, and if the topic comes up that they beat the Warriors in a 7-game series playing dirty, they won't care because they are already on to Minnesota. They won't care, guys. It doesn't matter. It's the NBA, and you get to the next level anyhow you can. They're going to play dirty. Now, I'm not saying they're going to go out there and intentionally hurt people, But they're going to hit Curry's thumb and make it very uncomfortable for Curry to shoot three-pointers tonight. There's no doubt, guys. There's no doubt. It's going to be just a brawl. It's going to be a bar room brawl all night tonight, and whoever wins is only barely going to win this game. There's almost no doubt in my mind to that. Unless the Warriors show up and just pack it in right away. And if they do that, that will confirm everything I've said since the beginning of the season, which is that the mental toughness of this team is not there. Prove me wrong, Warriors. Prove me wrong. Go out there and win, because I want to see you win. I don't believe the Warriors are going to win tonight for all of those reasons. But that doesn't mean that Curry doesn't have a chance to take his legacy to the next level later on. I'm just not sure it's going to happen now. But if it did happen now, how would that change the conversation between the GOAT of this era, LeBron or Curry? I'm not going to get into the GOAT of all time because it's Jordan. Anybody who says it's not Jordan never saw him play or is just out of their mind. That's the bottom line. I saw Jordan play. I didn't see players play before Jordan, but I saw Jordan play. And ain't nobody like Michael Jordan. Nobody. But in this era, if you want to talk LeBron or Curry, if Curry could somehow get there this year and get that ring, man, it is very hard to say Curry isn't the GOAT of this era. It's going to be very difficult for anybody out there not to say that. He'll have one more ring than LeBron. He'll have one more playoff series than LeBron, I believe. I have to check the notes on that. But it doesn't matter. Rings are what matters. It's like anybody also says when they talk about who's better, LeBron or Kobe or Jordan. It's all about the rings. It's all about the rings, guys. At the end of the day, when those players retire and they're sitting next to each other talking about who's the best, all they have to do is flash the rings. That's it. That's it. Conversation over. Done. Done. Numbers don't matter. Championships matter. Okay? That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And to get there right now for Curry, he's got to have the supporting cast around him that will help him get there. They all have to want to help him get there. That's it, guys. That's it. Because him and LeBron are tied for rings. So if you ask me who's the GOAT of this era, I will tell you right now, they're sharing it. There is no definitive answer for me who's better, LeBron or Curry, because they're both so close. So close that I need somebody to tip the scale for me. I need somebody to tip the scale. Who's that going to be? LeBron or Curry? I don't believe it'll be LeBron because I think LeBron is so done. I think he's so done he should retire. I mean, it's going to be more of the same next year. It really is. He's done. And it's only because I've seen this for the last 2 years with LeBron. He's really slowing down. Unless the Lakers put a magnificent team around him. And it's not going to just be Luka. It's got to be more than that to get him that next ring. Okay, maybe. But it won't be because of his performance. It just won't be anymore. Curry is just a better player now. His performance out there can influence the game still. It can still influence the game. So if Curry wins it this year, they can say it wasn't everybody around him helping him get that next ring. They can say he led the team. I think it's going to be that way for a couple more years for Curry. How many more? I don't know. 1 or 2? It's enough to give him a fighting chance if they really retool after this year. If they retool. But we will talk about that after this game, depending on if we have many more podcasts to go for the Warriors, or depending on what we're talking about, the Warriors' exit from the playoffs, and I'll see you next season type of thing. But either way, the conversation should never be about where Steph Curry's legacy lies now. The only conversation should be where can he take it between now and when he retires? And can he take it to the next level? So let's see, guys. Enjoy the Warrior game tonight. I believe it starts tonight at 6:30, maybe 6 o'clock. Check ESPN. I didn't even turn on my computers yet to look, but I believe it's 6 or 6:30. Anyway, doesn't matter. Tonight's put up or shut up, guys. So let's see if the Warriors can put up. Until then, hard work beats talent when talent don't work, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Go Warriors.